This is a 39.5mm Oris Aquis date in green. It's a watch that I've eyed up a lot but I've never bought. Not because of the price, which can be pretty reasonable if you shop around, nor because of its design. The angular case shape and the simple handset are about as likeable as a 1990s Jim Carrey film. Ignore that if you don't like Jim Carrey. In fact, just stop watching the video. No, seriously don't. I really do need every last view I can get. But what usually stopped me from getting one of these was its size. The standard Aquis, the one that they offer in a GMT form, various special editions and colourways, and the one that most people seem to veer towards, is 43.5mm, which, sadly, is far too big for my skinny 6-inch wrists. Even with those downward shaped lugs, this green one here has been nicknamed the Yoda by none other than Jodie from Just One More Watch. So who am I to argue? And thankfully it still maintains the angular case shape, the muscular modular crown guards, and the sharp teeth along the edge of the bezel, meaning it really is just a scaled down version of its bigger brother. It's got the date at 6 o'clock, a screw down crown, a 120 click unidirectional bezel, a nice little display case back, and this stunning articulating bracelet. So after all that gushing praise, is it, well, just too small? In a word, no. But it is missing something that the bigger version might have, something ethereal, like Tory investment in the NHS or a decent track and trace system. So let's start with the positives then, and something that I've already alluded to, and it's this stunning articulating bracelet. The links fold up on themselves, a bit like an engineer bracelet on a Breitling Super Ocean. At least that's what it reminds me of, and it makes it extremely comfortable on the wrist. The brushing on the centre links is excellent, and the polished outer links make this thing really stand out on your wrist, even if it's scratched up to very much like mine is. I've only had this a week, and it's already looking somewhat beaten up, which is something to note if you do like baby in your watches. Most people won't notice, to be honest, as they'll be too busy looking at that dial. Take this thing outside and you'll see what I really mean. The green really plays with the light, and it actually moves from green to maybe a navy and then into black again. It's really dynamic. The bezel action is clicky, smooth, and it lines up. You want to be accurate when you're timing those oven chips. The bezel insert is also colour matched to the dial perfectly, so you don't get any of that jarring mismatch of shades like you do on other watches in this sort of price range. I'm thinking specifically of the Longines Hydra Conquest, also in green. Sticking with that bezel action, ASMR people, turn up your speakers. Let's have a listen. Now, personally, I like a display case back. Some people might complain and say, why would you show off a base grade Salita SW200? But I think when you're getting an entry level Swiss diver, just having a mechanical movement might still be somewhat of a novelty. Unfortunately, however, the glass on the back of this, yeah, it's mineral crystal. That moves us nicely onto the not so good, and frankly, we're still talking about the movements. Oris should really upgrade this thing. You could put in the new caliber 400 at some point, as I'm sure they will, or you could just use an elaborate grade SW200. If you paid full retail, that's the least you'd expect. That full retail price is £1,600, but as I say, shop around and you're going to get it for around 400 quid less than that. But to be honest, that still might be a bit too much for this movement, which a lot of micro brands are already better in, with models that cost far less. And divers extensions? Did I no want to see that, Jenny? Because the only thing I need extended on my watch is the warranty, and even if I did want to adjust this quickly, surely a sliding, ratcheting, gliding, whatever word Rolex hasn't outlawed using yet, system is the way to go. Zelos, Christopher Ward, there's a lot of brands now that are doing it on their divers models, and they're doing it for a fraction of the price. As for the warranty, it's 2 years on these with an extra year if you do the whole sign up on the Oris website, give us your email address, click OK on the cookies thing. Other than that, there's not much to discuss other than the size. Now personally, I don't like having a dinner plate on my wrist. That's why I was really taken aback when I saw that they were doing the Oris Aquis in 39.5mm. I was over the moon. I could get a watch that stays authentic to the Oris brand, and it keeps that bigger version's utilitarian credentials. However, thanks to the design of the Aquis lugs, this thing actually wears even smaller than the stated 39.5mm. If you couple those lugs with the dive time bezel, and you're not wearing a dinner plate so much as maybe a scaled down Sylvanian family's equivalent, I just don't think you'll get used to a watch this size if you've got a wrist that's 7 inches or bigger. If that's you, stick to the 43.5 or even the 41.5 model, which a lot of reviewers have pointed to as the sweet spot. Because of that size, and even though it is still thin at 12.5mm, the proportions do feel a little off. You'd expect something that wears this small to be just a touch thinner. Maybe in future iterations, that could be fixed. And the Lume is pretty good. It's bright enough to let me know just how much time I've been on Twitter since I swore I was going to sleep. But it's BGW9, which isn't my personal favourite. And I would like to see a bit of C3 Super Luminova on here. That would have been a classy touch, lads. If you can cope with those gripes and you've got the wrists of someone who can't get on the rides at Blackpool without a note from their parents, you might come to find that less is more of this. I got this like new for 950 quid, and that is a lot of watch for the money. So, to that all important question, is it too small? For me, no. But you should quite literally try it out for size. It might surprise you. Put it this way, my 39mm Black Bay 58 now looks absolutely huge, and that's saying something.